Hello, this is the Trade Ideas Market Recap for Wednesday, May the 21st. My name is Barry Enerson. I'm the moderator of the trading room. This is the address to get into the room. You can log in as a guest or use your Facebook or your Twitter account to log in. Well, before we actually take a look at the two trades that I posted in the room today, have to look at the SPY because today was FOMC Minute Day. The minutes were released at 2 p.m. And always, for me anyway, a bit of a challenge to trade. It can be very slow all day because certainly large investors aren't willing to commit large amounts of money, not knowing what's going to be said at 2 p.m. So, and then definitely right around 2 p.m., I really don't trade. Probably for certainly 45 minutes to half an hour before 2 p.m., I'm basically not in anything. So this is what happens. So this is 2 p.m. right here. And I usually find that it's a good 30 minutes of what I call froth. So you can see that the market popped up and then it came down. And then the next, these are 2 minute candles, and then it was up, and then a big red candle down, and then down. So, this whole area here, obviously very choppy. And then it's had a recovery, and so this is half an hour into it. So you can see that again, this area here is very choppy. So if you were on the opposite side, if you were, for instance, short something right here, and you had this happen to you, you were more than likely stopped out if you obeyed your stops. And conversely, if you were long something, you were more than likely stopped out if you obeyed your stops. So that's why I just don't want to put myself through the aggravation of having to worry about this. So I'm usually out of anything, everything, right around this area here, because even before, there's some speculation about what could happen. So that's my advice of what to do on FOMC days. Kind of take it easy, especially around 2 p.m. So let's take a look at what I did do today. Now, SCE, or sorry, SE, Spectra Energy. Now, this came from my break of the 20-day high. Now, I actually did something I rarely do on this particular strategy. The 20-day high break is actually at 40.14. So it's up in this area right here. But I actually took the trade when it broke through $40 and it looked pretty strong and the spread was decent. It didn't look like it was going to be too volatile. So I decided to take a bit of a risk and take the trade before it actually broke through. And you can see that it tried to get up through that 20-day high several times and it failed. But I held on and I held on through all of this, and eventually I decided to get out of the trade at 40.05. And especially, I mean, now here we're an hour and a half away from the FOMC minutes, but I just didn't have a great feeling about it anymore. I wanted this to at least stay in this area ahead of it. And you can see that it dropped and it actually tried to break through that whole number. Now, obviously, later on, it did. Maybe this is a lesson for me. This is the break of the 20-day high right here at 40.14, and you can see what it did. But again, now here is FOMC. So there was no way I was going to take this. I mean, I even mentioned in the trading room that it had broke, but I just couldn't take it. And you can see what happened. Now, it didn't have a dramatic drop once the minutes were released, but now it turned into a pretty decent little play, especially if I was able to have held on from the 40.02. But even from 40.14, I mean it's only a dime, but it's what I call a pretty safe dime. And who knows where it's going to end up? I mean the market still has 45 minutes left in it. So I mean that's generally why I like the breaks of the 20-day high, especially on the stocks that aren't too volatile. They can give me some very nice steady earning can be steady earners for that day. But again, because of FOMC, maybe other reasons, it just didn't work out for me. But that's okay. I can't wait to see what when I do my scan tonight to see what ones are close to the 20-day high break for tomorrow. Now, the next thing, the only other one that I traded in the room was ARMH. Now, this is from one of my old customs. In fact, it's the very first one that I had that was developed for me probably 2 years ago now, probably 2 years ago this summer. And Somebody actually asked me, did TSL trigger on it? Now, to be completely honest, I have been kind of ignoring this custom for a while. I've been concentrating on my bounce setups and all, and I haven't been really paying that much attention to it. I always have it in the corner of my eye. I have it as a window somewhere, but again, I've been paying a little more attention to my bounce plays. But somebody asked me, did TSL trigger? So I looked at TSL, and TSL, let me just make sure the linking is on. So with TSL, you can see that it triggered, let me just back up here, at 9:36, so quite early. So again, I don't really like to take this trades that early, but I did want to see what happened to it, and the price was at 11.96. So right here, right there is where the trigger was. Well, you can see what it did. I mean, that's a tremendous gain. I mean, even if I stopped myself out here, even kept half and then rode the rest up to this area. I mean, that is a really, really great percentage gain on a $12 stock. So I happened to look at the next one, which is PHH. And again, 2270 was the trigger. So even though so here's the trigger right here, 2270. Even though it already had this big giant surge here on a 2-minute candle and another one and another one, I received the alert. This is a momentum play, a pure momentum play, and had I taken it, even if I'd got out here, would have been a great gain, maybe sold half and then rode the balance up here. So that would have been tremendous. So definitely caught my attention. Now ARX I don't think really did anything, but QIWI was fairly good also, 4073. So received the alert right around this. What time was it? That was right at noon. So right here. So not quite as good I may have stopped myself out. I mean I have to admit, but I may have got back into it when it broke it again. So not too bad. So the next one was ARMH. And so I decided to take it. I'd had enough of watching these, and not taking them. The market being strong, this is a momentum play to the upside, obviously. And so the alert came at 43.86. So right in this area here, you can see that here's the momentum. And so I waited just a little bit to see what was happening on this pullback. And when it held and didn't, and the spread was good, wasn't too wide, and it didn't look too frothy, I decided to take the trade at 43.92, and I sold half at 44.12 and the other half at 44.20. I mean, yes, it would have been nice to have held on here, but again, I was getting here I'm getting within an hour of the FOMC, and I just did not want to be holding on to it at that point. You can see what happened to it. I mean, this is just before and now the drop. But tomorrow, I will now watch these a little more closely. Both, I didn't take anything on the short side. Again, the market was strong today, so I was, but certainly most of these long ones would have worked very well. So just a lesson, just because a strategy, no strategy, as somebody said in the room, no strategy works all the time, but every strategy will work at some point. And so maybe now this is a time for me to really start looking at this strategy again. Now, the only other thing that I did, and let's see how it's doing. Well, I'm a little soft on it, but I decided I'm going to take LIQD as a swing, and I got in at 165. I will hold this. I was hoping actually that it would hold 170, be a little over 170, but I will hold this for tomorrow. Some individual, I'm not sure who he is, but took out a whole mess of this stock at $1.25, like several million shares just a little while ago. And so, this is the reason why I think people are excited about this particular company. So, very speculative, not telling anybody else to do it. I did mention that we should be watching this today. This was in yesterday's video, and so that's why I'm certainly my focus is on this. So that's it for today. Hopefully tomorrow, well, I know tomorrow because it's not FOMC, there's nothing that's going to, at any particular time, is going to impede me from trading. So, and certainly at the beginning of the day, it should be fine. So Let me just bring back the cover sheet and show you how to get into the room again. And again, you can log in as a guest or use your Facebook or your Twitter account to log in. I hope to see you in the trading room tomorrow.